If you kind of analyze the impact of this crisis, there are three things. One is the loss of life, and one lost life is one too many. It's estimated 500 to 600 people, maybe the figure is higher. The second is the damage to property, the capital stock of the country. So many houses went underwater, many infrastructure like roads, some bridges, significant amount of landslides happened. And the third is loss of output due to this crisis. So production capacity has been taken out. Some tourists may decide not to come to Sri Lanka because of a negative perception. There's been a large damage to food production. So that's a loss of income for farmers. Now, with reference to poverty, who has got hit? Obviously, the poor people have got hit more because they live in more vulnerable areas. And the World Bank has done an extensive analysis of climate vulnerability and adaptation in South Asia, in which they have identified how vulnerable the poor people are. They looked at the impact of heat and the impact of floods. Now take Sri Lanka. The areas around Colombo that flooded are generally low income areas, and even insurance will not cover those areas. So there is a significant impact to these people. And even the people who were in the upcountry, etc., these were remote villages, etc. So they have taken the brunt of the suffering. And I'm afraid that they are in for a very difficult time, not only from the loss of life, loss of property, but also potential loss of income going forward. Any intervention has to be directed specifically to help those people. So you have to go by location because this is very geographic centric. So what I'm told is like down south, etc., they were not impacted. So it is the central highlands and certain areas that are on the banks of these rivers, etc., that got hit. So farming community, that there's a lot of damage to paddy fields. But maybe that it's early in the sowing season, that areas like Ampara sow early, but many other areas they have not yet sowed the paddy seeds. So there might be an opportunity to rebuild the paddy fields and sow the seeds. Then you have people in the plantation sector who have got impacted, especially in the Uva, that Badula area and Pusalava, where there was a lot of landslides. And then you have people down in the vicinity of the Kalania River. So, as I said, that many of the farm community, I'm told that significant amount of poultry production has got impacted because they were in these areas that flooded. So it's too early to say because a proper assessment will have to be done by government. But my sense is that it will take at least 3 to 6 months before these people have a full recovery. So look at how it will impact now in the hill country, central highlands, which is where a lot of vegetable production certainly happens. It has already got damaged, and we can see in the market that there's a shortage. Many of these vegetables probably take about 60 days to grow. So I'm not expecting a rapid recovery because many of these people have lost income, lost assets. So unless there is a targeted program by the government to help them recovery, you are going to see a significant spike in vegetables, especially hill country vegetables. Then I'm told that there was significant damage to the poultry infrastructure, and therefore there will be a big supply shock and the prices are going to increase. There's also talk about the cereal crops like rice, and that there has been a big impact to paddy production. As I said, this is early in the Maha season, so there might be an opportunity to rebuild some of the destroyed paddy fields and resow, and the farmers may need some kind of income support to get up on their feet. So you are going to see a spike in food prices and other shortages, but this is more a temporary phenomenon rather than a demand side. It's a supply side shock. It's not a demand side stimulation. So I think it's going to be transitory. So as we discussed earlier, that perhaps the lower income segments of our population who have got hit the most. But some of them would have some assets, and what we have seen in the last 2 years because of the run-up in gold prices, we have seen a lot of gold-based lending significantly increasing. So unless there are moratoriums, etc., that are enforced, many of these people will find it difficult to repay. But the prices, the underlying collateral prices have gone up. So maybe some of their capital stock, if they have saved in these kind of assets, they have some buffers. But since the last crisis, not enough time elapsed for them to rebuild whatever savings and capital assets that they need. So I'm afraid that unless the government comes in with some kind of cash subsidy, it's going to be very difficult. And what I read in the papers was that they are going to increase the handout from 10,000 rupees to 25,000 rupees to clean houses. I mean, any kind of government intervention, the best way to do this is to simply give the cash. The government should resist trying to intervene in the market, trying to put price controls, because the best way we can come back from this tragedy is for the market system to operate, which means that prices will go up. But prices then give a massive incentive for a supply response. And when prices go up, affordability is challenged. And because there's a supply shock, affordability has to be challenged, because if the same level of demand tries to continue, the supply can't keep up. But for the basic necessities, that is why the government doing cash transfer is the best way to not excessively intervene in the market. And it seemed like we were heading for a 4% primary balance surplus, where the IMF's target was 2.3%. So there is plenty of fiscal space to give these handouts. And even next year's budget, there is a capital expenditure budget of about 4% of GDP. So this year also they had 4% of GDP, and they probably spent less than 50% because they had capacity issues. Perhaps from next year's budget, some of that expenditure could be redirected and reprioritized. So the government does have sufficient fiscal space, but at the same time GDP will get impacted. So some of these tax revenues will also come down, because a less buoyant economy means less income. And that's the right way to intervene. I certainly don't think that we need a large amount of foreign assistance. Some humanitarian assistance will definitely be welcome, but our economy itself can self-repair.